Daylight breaks over the ridge. The hounds strike. No crowds, no cameras, just a track and the hounds that bring the story to life. That's what this show's about. Dogs, dirt roads, early mornings, and the people who live it. This is Creekside Chronicles. Hounds, hunting, and heritage. I am your host, Heath Hyatt, houndsman, hunter, and a lifelong student of the outdoors. Here, we chase more than game. We chase knowledge about hounds, hunting, and living the outdoor life the right way. From bear country to back roads, this is where the hunt meets heart, and every story runs a different trail. So pull up your chair by the creek, leash up your best hound, and let's get after it together. Performance starts in the feed. Inukshuk's high-fat content fuels long runs and hard hunts, giving dogs the steady energy they need, while quality protein supports faster recovery after the work is done. That's why I trust Inukshuk dog food. Packed with energy and nutrition dogs need to go further, run harder, and recover stronger. If you want extreme performance, you can look them up at Inukshuk Professional Dog Food or CoreyNutrition.com. Welcome back to the Creekside, where we talk about everything from the woods to the water. We talk about it all. If you've been listening along, you're a part of the Creekside crew. Now you know what to do. You're going to pull up at the chair. I'm going to throw another stick on the fire, and we're going to get this episode unloaded. I want to tell you about a hunt that I had this past week. If you've hunted hounds long enough, or if you've hunted hounds at all, have you ever asked yourself, how is it possible to have the worst hunt imaginable and at the same time have the best hunt, and you walk out of there saying, this is why I do what I do? Let me tell you mine. Earlier in the week, I was rigging the dogs, and you heard me talk. I spend a lot of time with my younger dogs, and I'm in a transitional stage with my pack. I have my two oldest dogs, Spook and Kate, who are 7. Then I've got Houdini and Hart, who are 5. And then I got Axe and Attica, the 8-litter, which is 4. And we go on down the list. I got Lady, Briggs, and Sassy, who are 3. Chief and Clyde, who are 2. And Goofy, who's, without adding it up, he's pushing 19 months. Could be 20. I'd have to go back and look at it again, but 18 to 20 months old. And then I've got Zeke, who I've been working on. If you watch my reels, you've seen me fooling with him. And I got to get those caught up. I've been busy. So I spend a lot of time during training season really concentrating on my young dogs. And for my 2-year-olds, let me just put this in perspective. They had last season. That's it. They had August, September, December. And Goofy, who I've told you, last year I had him out 2 days in December. I just had the other dogs, and I was concentrating, and I had him out a couple times this year. So I won't keep beating that dead horse. So we're rigging around the mountain, and I do have Hootie with me, and I have Briggs, Clyde, and Chief on the rig. And it seems like I had Goofy in the box. I'm missing somebody. 1, 2. Oh, yeah, I had Axe with me. So I'm rigging around the mountain, and I drop off, and the dogs hit. And Houdini out of the bunch is my best rig dog for sure. And he is one of my better trail dogs. So I put him down, and the reason I put him down first, I lied to you. I put Chief and Briggs down first. They went up the road, and I'm like, okay, this is wonderful. You know how it is. They didn't go straight off the mountain or straight up the mountain. They took off up the road. So I let Houdini off, and he runs up the road, makes a quick U-turn, comes back, hits the brush, and goes down. He starts off the mountain. But I'm holding Goofy and Clyde because I want him to open, and I want to put those two dogs with him. So he opens. He's 50 yards down. I put Clyde in. He opens again. Clyde's opening. I put Goofy in. Off the mountain they go. The other two Yahoos, I seen one of them, and I can't even tell you which one it was, hit the bank and go up the mountain. So I'm doing like all of us would do. My older dog, Hootie, my more experienced dog, is heading off the mountain. So I get in the truck. I'm looking at my Alpha, and two of them are going up the mountain, which is Briggs and Chief, and the other three's headed off the mountain. Well, they're going to cross a road if they keep going. So I go off the mountain and try to keep up with them, right? That's what logic tells you. I get down around to the road that they're coming out on. Now they've done dropped the cost. They've done dropped in the road, and my expectations were they were going to cross the road, and I was going to have to like beat feet to get to the next road, which is a hard top. Well, I seen Clyde turn and come out the road, and I'm like, well, what's he doing? So I keep going out the road in thoughts that I've got dog in two different directions. I'm just gonna pick these dogs up, try to round the other two up, and start this over. Well, anyway, all three dogs come to me, so I load them up, boom, 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 and I turn the truck around, and the other dog, Chief, is showing treed, and he's right underneath the top of the mountain, and I'm like, huh, okay, this is new, but okay. Well, Briggs made a circle, and Briggs comes in, and he pops up treed. So I drive back up the mountain, and I get as close as I can, and it's straight up and straight down. You guys that hunt the north of the mountains, you know what I'm talking about. There's no easy way. It's just put your boots on, lace them up tight, and let's go. So that's what I did. I tighten my boots up. I grab my three leads and head up the mountain. So I get halfway up there. Briggs comes to me. I do not like that. And this is going to be the second part of the podcast, okay? So hang in there. Briggs comes to me. Chief is treeing, but he's not steady. He's not the oh. It's more of a oh, and he gets quiet. And then oh. So I'm doing the best I can to get up to him. And you guys know how it is. Like, I'm not really sure what's going on. Three dogs went off the mountain. These two meatheads went up the mountain. Bridge comes to me. Like, y'all can feel the frustration. I know it because you've been there. So I finally get up to where I can see where they're treed, and they're breaking right on top of the ridge, almost on top. And I get up there and I see the bear, and I'm like, all right. So I catch my breath and I hurry on up. I pet him up, man. I give him some lovins. Good boy. I sit down, catch my breath because it was steep, and it was a sow and two cubs. Healthy. That's what I like to see is healthy cubs, healthy sow. So I tie the dogs up. and Wesley wants to bring Barrett into the tree. So I'm waiting on them, and I'm just, I'm soaking it in. But while I'm sitting on a log, about 30 foot above the tree, watching the dogs. Now, it's hot. It's August. It's hot here in Appalachia. It's hot. I mean, they're treeing, but they're hot. And I'm thinking to myself, all right, now I'm processing what happened. My good dog, who I have a lot of faith in, went backwards. And I packed two dogs to him backwards. It's not on them, that's on me. The Hootie should have known better. And then I'm sitting there looking at the two young dogs, Briggs, who aggravated me, and Chief, who, I mean, this is his first rodeo. This is his first, like, I got it, Dad. I got it. And for him to locate, stay treed, Briggs comes off the tree, Briggs comes back to the tree. That moment and the gratification, the satisfaction that I sat there and soaked in while I was waiting for them to get to the tree is why I do what I do. First one by himself. Yes, the dog is 2 years old, and we sometimes have unrealistic expectations. But let me give you a little background on Chief. So last year during training season, we got on a little rough bear early on in training season. Now he didn't know nothing at this point in time. Knew nothing. Was making races, and if you remember, he wasn't treeing, but he was making races, and that's a start. Hey, you got to get from point A to point B, and then the rest of it comes together. But that second or third week of training season, second week, he got beat up. Not hurt, but he got beat up. Had to cut on him, had to staple it up. If you guys watch my reel I posted this past Sunday, talk about what's in my med kit. But I had to staple him up. In fact, me and Garrett worked on 3 dogs there and on the tailgate. Got them patched back up. Man, it's so handy to have a vet to teach you things and show you the right way. So it set him back a little bit. I had to put him up for, 10 days or 14 days to get the staples out. So by then it was up into September. And then he was a little hesitant. Like he just didn't go running back in there like a kamikaze. Like he would go, but if the bear was caught on the ground, and I noticed this through the season, like if the bear was caught on the ground, you'd see him back up a little bit on the tracker. You didn't see it in real life, but you saw it on the tracker. That's some of the good and the bad of the Garmin products. But he'd always go on. Like he'd always go on. After things broke out and took off, he'd always pursue. And then in December, the flip switched on the treeing. Like he put it together. So it's not all been sunshine and roses. Like we talk about dogs maturing differently and doing different things. So that's a little background on him. And I've been patient with him. I like him. He handles good. He listens good. He's easy to be around. Not hard to look at. He's put up together pretty good. He's got a lot of things that we like. So I've been patient, and we talk about patience. So for him to put that together the first week of season, like I'm looking for the consistency now. We talked about that consistency. I need that consistency. But that was a step in the right direction. And that's why I love to hunt dogs, is to see that progression. That's what my training's all about. I do a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't want to do, and I read the comments on all my posts. Sometimes I just shake my head. Yes, I know that if it's genetically there, you don't have to do any of this stuff. You turn them loose. I know if that DNA is programmed right, you just turn them loose. Absolutely. We're all in agreement there. But I enjoy doing these things. I enjoy it. That's why I do it. So I've been thinking a lot over the last couple of weeks about things. And how can you hunt and give you the highest high and the lowest low in a 30-minute time period? There's nothing else like it. Moving to another note, you guys know that I keep pretty good records. I need to do a better job. I seen that after I went through all this data. So for the last 2 years, and I probably got it for the third year too. I just have to go back and find it. But I was sitting down one evening and I'm like, Garrett and I have been talking about the heat and the humidity. And, if it equals 155, 150, you're in the red level. So I took the last 2 years of data, so 2024, 2025, and I added all of that up. So in August of 24, the average combination of temperature and humidity was 153. There were only 2 days that I hunted that it was under 150. And we know that 150 is in that dangerous level. So in September of 2024, out of the days that I hunted, and the combination of humidity and temperature averaged 145. And it was up until September 11th, and we should all remember that date, right? 9/11, that it was still stayed up in above the 150s, and then it continued, then it consistently got a little better after September 11th. So move up to August of 25. Almost the exact same data. For the month of August, we had 1 day that was less than 150, and the average was 154. So 1 point difference. September, identical numbers, and almost identical time frame. September 10th, September 11th, it started to drop. The average was 145. So Garrett and I have a conversation about this. And we're like, okay, I didn't realize that factor was such a factor. Like, you're looking at 2 years of data that are almost identical, and very few days are we running in August. Well, 2 1 year and 1 another year that I ran that it was below 150. How is this affecting our dogs? So we talked about it. One thing is weight management. We can go back and talk about that. Keeping the dogs at a good weight as season starts, and if you can get them in shape, or you can do some roading, or you can do anything that knocks a little bit of that off of those dogs to begin with, you're in a better start position. That's number one. Number two is I'm very adamant about using the glycerol in the hot weather. And I get it from Dogs Are Treed. You can go to Kevin and get it. And I mix it in my pre-mix. I got pre-mix and post-mix. People think I'm crazy. I think I've said that, but I mean, I'm carrying around my pre-mix and my post. I mean, it's just like going to the gym. What's every weightlifter do after they lift? They drink a protein shake, right? They're trying to rebuild that stuff. I'm using maltodextrin. I'm trying to exact the same thing, and I'm feeding good food. It's got a high protein that helps with the maintaining a good lean muscle, recovers with the joints. A lot of things go into that. So Garrett and I talked about it, and we feel like a lot of the things that we do are contributing to keeping our dogs healthy, because the heat is hard, and making sure we're not having problems. And over those 2 years, I didn't have any problems, heat induced problems. But again, I'm picking my dogs up by 9 o'clock. If it's all possible, I'm picking them up. The other day, they got in there deep on me. Whoa, what a race we had. Briggs pulled out in front of everybody and made a big loop with the bear, brought it right back down, and literally run head on into Houdini and Clyde and Chief. They popped up, and I'm like, huh? A mile and a half walk. Any which direction you went, it was a mile and a half was the shortest distance, and it was in rough country, like bad country. So I just had to pick my big boy jeans on and go after it. And it was like a 2 hour trip for me. And you talk about the dogs being in shape. I was pulling back out of that jungle that I was in. I mean, it was a jungle. I mean, you wonder how the dogs, I mean, how do we even get here? Like, they go to the worst, roughest, toughest, nastiest country that they can find. And oh, I'll pull up in this tree. I bet you whoever's chasing them dogs don't want to come in here, you know? But I was pulling back up out of that jungle, and I get halfway back to the truck. So it's a mile and a half. I'm 3/4 way back to the truck, and I pull up on a little rock outcrop, and I stop. And I'm like, man, I don't know if the gym's helping me or not. Like, this is tough. And then I'm like, well, what kind of shape would I be in if I wasn't going to the gym? But again, it's for the love. Like, it's the love of what we do. But anyway, back to the temperature. Also, in that data that I had kept for 2 years was the days that I hunted. And this was a humbling, it was very disappointing. Very disappointing. In August of 24, I hunted 16 days. In August of 25, I hunted 15 days. And in September, which is my favorite time of year, September and October of 24, I hunted 13 days. And last year, I hunted 13 days. And I took the last week off to go to Wyoming, so I missed out on, 6 days there. But it goes back to our time allotted in Virginia to hunt. I thought that I was hunting a whole lot more than what I was until I looked at the numbers, and then I'm like, I'm not even hunting half a month. Like, August has 31 days, September's got 30 days. I've got 60 days to hunt, and I'm not hunting. I mean, 16 and 23. I'm not even getting 30 days in. And I know that obligations, we talk about family and work and, Maddie playing volleyball and, doing the traveling. It was very disappointing, and I've got to do better. I've got to do better. I've got to make a more conscious effort to take every opportunity that I can to get my dogs out, because that was almost a smack in the face for me. And then you look at the temperature and the humidity and time of day, weather conditions. That's played a big part of it. I'm sure I went to work a couple days because of rain. I mean, I'm sure I am. But out of all that data, 2 years worth of data, and it's not scientific, it was just my own observations. It isn't big enough to prove anything with that set, but it's big enough that makes me want to ask better questions and more questions on what's going on. And Luke had texted me one day. I was coming off the mountain. He had listened to the podcast about the 150, adding it up. And it was pretty high up there where he was at. And he was like, that's got to affect scenting conditions. Well, it's funny you say that, because we talk about scenting conditions, and it's not just the scenting conditions alone. I mean, there's several studies, and again, these are detection studies. The difference in a detection study is the dogs are working on or off lead in a controlled environment. They're not running miles through the mountains. There's some stuff in here that's not as we would need that type of information where the studies that are done was done in 24. It was 411 dogs, I think, and they were tested from 32 to 77 degrees. Well, 77 degrees with 80% humidity, and it's pretty tough for us. But we talked about the scenting conditions, and we know that moisture helps hold scent. We know that. But it doesn't really make it better, doesn't really make it worse. I mean, does an experienced dog can make it look really easy, and an unexperienced dog can make you scratch your head. We just talked about that. So that data set, I'm going to continue to do. I'm doing it this year, and actually, what I'm changing this year is I'm actually keeping data on the days that I don't hunt. So I'm keeping the humidity and the temperature and everything. I want to tell you this. So I come off the mountain yesterday actually, and it was 9:30. Yesterday's temps were like 62 degrees and 93% humidity when I went up. And as we were coming back out the mountain, we got the windows rolled down, just enjoying the scenery, and it feels way cooler, way cooler. I'm like, I wonder where the temperature and humidity is at now. So as soon as I get to service, I flip over my weather app and I'm looking at it, and it's 66 degrees. So we went up 4 degrees, but the humidity's dropped 3%. It was 90% humidity. And it was a distinctive difference in the air. 3 degrees in humidity, and I could feel the difference. So that the dogs can too. I just thought that was an interesting tidbit. Like, I'm paying a lot more attention to this stuff. So a lot of variables go into the scent. I don't have an answer. I mean, you're looking at, ground moisture, like vegetation, wind, temperature, sun, shade. We know that the shade's great. The terrain, how old is the scent? Contamination. How many animals have been through where you're at and your dog are trying to work through it? I mean, deer, coyote, coons, cat. The list goes on and on and on. So a lot of that stuff within itself plays a factor into the scenting conditions. So I don't know. I don't have an answer, but I'm trying to learn and I'm trying to put stuff together, and I'm trying to be more observant on what I'm doing. And I'm probably going to end up with this. And I stole this from Jarrett Moss, so I got to give him the credit. He made a post a couple of weeks ago, could have been a month or so ago, about you're not hunting the same dog you did last year. Right? Are you? Well, it hit me when Mr. Briggs come off that tree and met me halfway down the mountain. Why did he come down there? Did he hear me breathe? Was I breathing so loud that he's like, "Oh, there comes Dad. I better go check on him. He's ready to have a heart attack." Yeah, I don't think so. But you're not hunting the same dog. And I'll use Briggs as a prime example. Last year, that dog, again, this is halfway through the season, towards the end of the season. That dog was honed in, man. He'd get out in front of the dogs and he'd give a big old locate, lock down, just a steady chop tree dog. And then the other day, he's meeting me halfway off the mountain. Like, whoa, where did this come from? And I go back to my sports analogy. You got to practice, right? It's like going back to the basketball court and start working on your free throws when you haven't done them all year. You're not going to sink 10 in a row. You're going to miss a couple. You got to get that stuff honed back in. So you're not hunting the same dog. And I just about bet money that you're not going to be the same hunter either. And maybe all that together is what keeps us coming back. That's what keeps us trying to figure out what's next. That's going to be a wrap for this week's episode of Creekside Chronicles. We appreciate you spending your time with us, whether you're in the truck, in the woods, or sitting by the creek just listening along. Thank you for walking this trail with us. And we got to say thank you to W Supply for hosting the podcast and supporting everything we do. Be sure to check them out and go to wsupply.com for all your hound hunting needs. Until next time, keep your dogs fed right, those leads tight, boots muddy, and we'll see you at the tree.
Tailgate drops before the light, coolers packed and the rig sitting right, tracking collars charged, beeping green, boots in the bed and the rifle's clean. Dog box rattling, engines hum, we're chasing bear till the day is done. Old ring barking like he knows what's near, nose to the wind, tail full of cheer. From the Virginia mountains to the Carolina clay, we're burning fuel and miles each day. Every turn's another tale, through mountain mist and paper trails. We see the sunset red in Tennessee, rise through the fog in old WV. North Carolina's pines echo loud with the cry of a hard-run hound. New York forest, Maine's deep snow, Vermont valleys where the black bears go. Truck keeps rolling, wheels don't care. We're chasing daylight, chasing bear. Rest stops few, the roads are long, but the fire in our hearts still burns strong. Wisconsin mornings cutting crisp and clear, Canada's wildwoods drawing near. Still got states we ain't run, but that hound dog fever won't let us quit. We see the sunset red in Tennessee, rise through the fall in old WV. North Carolina's pines echo loud with the cry of a hard-run hound. New York frost, Maine's deep snow, Vermont valleys where the black bears go. Truck keeps rolling, wheels don't care. We're chasing daylight, chasing bear. Gas station coffee, Alpha XL on the dash. Another back road, another bear track. Friends made fast and stories told slow, under stars where only hunters go. We see the sunrise gold in Canadian air, and it sets on a trail down in Appalachia. Packing steel and leather, grit and care, we're built for the road and chasing bear. So load the dogs and slam the gate, there's a trail ahead, we won't be late. From dawn to dusk, we're always there, chasing daylight, chasing them bears.